Oh my goodness. Okay, so who last night I wrote the last words of The Dark Side Down. What a ride that was. But no matter how good the book is, how well drawn out the story is, and how deep and profound the characters are, the last line. I wrote the last line of the book, and I stared at it for like 20 minutes because it wasn't right. I've always felt like the last few words of a novel are like the last notes of a symphony. It should resonate in the hall and in the hearts and the minds of the beholder, and should go with them beyond the event. People should, after hearing a brilliantly performed symphony, should leave the hall with the last refrains of that final note glued to their psyche. And they should take it home with them and to work the next day. And it should just mingle with their soul and their heart and refuse to give quarter. And the same thing holds true with the last line of a book. It should not only make the reader desperately want more, but it should sum up, somehow, magically, within the space of just a sentence, should sum up the entirety of the work. And it should beg that the reader want for more. Should have the reader pleading to the writer, please give us more. And it wasn't there last night. I wrote a sentence. I may as well have just written the end and closed the document and said, okay, I'm done. There was no profundity, no depth, no call out to the soul or the senses to ponder where the story's going to go next or what the story was about. And so I know that I'm going to have to go back. Actually, I've already gone back. I've already gone back and reread and rewritten that last section. And I can look at it right now. And I've improved upon it. 4 words. 4 words. The last sentence, 4 words. And I'm not sure. And I have to be sure about that last sentence. It's just like the first sentence of a book. The first sentence of a book should immediately draw that reader in and say, you are in for something special. And then the last line of the book should say to the reader, you have just read something special. It's like the bread of a sandwich. You don't have the bread, you don't have a sandwich. And really good bread could make a sandwich sing. And really bad bread could ruin that sandwich. Bread, I guess some people would consider artisan bread to be an art, of course, but we're not talking about bread. And somehow I have got to rework that last sentence to make it perfect. And I'm not talking about grammatically perfect. I mean, anyone can write a grammatically perfect sentence. Well, not anyone, but you know what I mean. It's got to be absolutely, from all aspects, from every angle, that sentence has to be perfect. And it's not yet, and it's driving me crazy. 4 words. 4 freaking words. I don't know, and it's you know, that I think that's part of the problem, Muse. Normally I know, and I think in this case, this whole I finished, you know, I finished the book, and then I realized that there was something it needed, and I decided to write an epilogue. And even before writing this epilogue, I knew that the epilogue would dictate exactly where the series went next. And my gosh, I mean, yesterday before I started writing this epilogue, in my mind I took this story off in so many different directions, and finally, I don't know why, but finally I realized no. I mean, there were some ideas I had for different epilogues that made for great theater, if you know what I mean. And I realized that although that they would have been perfect endnotes for this story, I realized that they weren't the perfect transitional notes for the next movement in the symphony known as the Nameless Saga. And so I kept beating my head against this metaphorical wall, and finally I realized, wait a minute, there's one character that I've got to make sure I didn't castrate this one character and bring him back and make the reader go, oh yeah, there he is, and know that this character is going to continue on and do his normal shtick. And I think I did that in the epilogue, but this last sentence, Muse, you are going to have to... I know, you know, I'll go about the day today, and I'll forget about it, and I'll wait and for you to tap me on the shoulder and say, here it is. Here's the last sentence. Bing! And I've been waiting since last night for you to do it. And I think what I wrote today could be. I mean, it's a leading sentence. Makes the reader go, oh wait, is it going this way or is it going that way? 4 words! 4, I know I keep saying that, but there's power in those words, and I've got to use it to my best ability. And I'm going to obsess over these 4 words and wonder, did I choose wisely? Or did I not? I've got plenty of time. This hasn't even gone to my editor, and she may come back to me and say, I don't know. But anyway, that's where I am right now. Surrounded myself with metaphorical walls, and I'm just beating. But luckily, I have a wonderful muse who inspires me constantly. And I know that at some point, today, tomorrow, sometime soon, you will gift me the perfect last sentence for this book. We artists are a crazy bunch, aren't we? How do you put up with us? How do you and your fellow muses put up with us? I guess maybe that you were all artists at one point, or yeah, I guess you are still artists, but you were living artists, as it were, and you probably went through the same angst that we do. Anyway, I'm going to stare at this sentence for a while longer right now and see if something sings out to me, so I can make the symphony of this book resonate deeply. Let's stare, shall we?